time to put out. We were just talking about another thing that comes along the way, and I'll let you go ahead and say what that is again that's taking place.
I was just telling Guruji that another thing that's been happening in the last couple of days is when I'm reading something, I just read a couple words and then the whole thing I get. It's like, you know, the entire thing. I don't have to read hardly any of it. And it's just there, just boom. And it's just like an all-encompassing, just direct consciousness, conscious understanding of that without really reading it hardly at all. So these are all new things that are coming along. Usually I'd have to read each thing, you know. That's not, no more. It's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of right. It's like that instant. Whatever you need to know, you want to know, it can be there either line by line or it comes in as a whole concept. The whole thing is known, and it's just known. It's you know, there's no way to understand it in mind. You know, there's no way, but that in fact it does happen.
It's not understood by intellect.
It's
just known.
It's
the
just
only
known.
way to say
That's
it.
the only way you can say it. It's just known.
Right.
Immediate.
Exactly.
In its entirety.
It's kind of like some people might, if they have a piece of bread, take little nibbles until it's done. You take one bite and you've eaten the whole thing.
Right. It's kind of like I guess you could say it's like a computer, somebody downloading something into the computer.
Yeah, just boom.
It's just like boom, it's been downloaded into consciousness. It's just boom, it's there immediately, like it's just been downloaded into consciousness. And it's not something one has to study for or look or try to, no.
See, and that's with me. I've never really enjoyed sifting through a lot of words, and you know, I don't care what I'm reading. I just haven't for quite some time. You know, since I mean, of course, with school you got to do that stuff, but that's gone long ago. So it's nice. You just read a couple words and you get it all. But and it's not like I was ever trying to do that. It just happened.
No, it's not something that somebody. This is like a, you know, like one of the cities and stuff that comes up, and you know, it just is. It's a lot of these types of experiences and things. They just develop, they come along the way. It's not something that somebody's trying to work to develop, trying to, you know, and a lot of people will do things like that. They think they're going to work on developing a city or something like that. But these, you know, it comes very naturally, very spontaneously, and just opens. All of a sudden you're sitting there one day and it's like, boom, these things open, and it's beyond... you can't argue with it. It just simply is what's there.
No, and it's just been in the last, I want to say, day or two that, you know, like I told you of the spontaneous writing, but now it's this just happened even last night when I was reading something. It's when it opened, and it's totally one-pointed, and there's a few words or half a sentence read, and the whole thing is digested and known. And it's just like,
it's like surprise.
Yeah, there's no getting away from it. It just happens on its own.
Exactly.
It doesn't come to a me. It's not from mind. It's not
exactly. And it's just there. It's just there. You can't explain how it's happened, but you know, the only way, like I said, you can explain it in some degree where people might understand a little bit. It's like a computer and something gets downloaded. It's just boom. It's so instant, so fast, though.
It is. You know, and the mind is, once it's more empty, I said maybe some of these things, I don't know. I don't want to put anything on it, but it's just starting. What's next? I don't know. It's just sort of there it is. And
that's it. You just wait and see what else is around the corner. But again, you know, in this path, these are not things that people are trying to develop or work on, or, you know, you get people, like we run across so many that were in India that are trying to develop these things and work on it and trying to get cities and powers and yada yada, all this stuff.
Can't imagine it.
And, you know, again, you know, here, you know, things come, they awaken, they open, you know, but it's not something that one is trying to work on to develop. It just happens, spontaneously, naturally. It opens and it is what is, and we accept it and we continue forward, because in the end, that's, again, it's not any big whoop. It's not, that's not the end point of the journey that we're looking for.
No, and if it falls away, it does. It doesn't matter. It's, whether it remains or comes or goes or stays, it's, who knows, and it doesn't matter.
Right, because it's not the object that people here are looking for or trying to develop. But yeah, these things happen along the way. These cities, these powers, these types of happenings take place. And yeah, when it happens the first time, you just sit there and go, but again, it's
at first, and then it just becomes
it becomes a natural thing. Then you don't even, it's not something you even thought about or looked at or contemplated any longer, because it's part of the natural experience from that point onward. That's all.
No.
That's why, when I talk, I don't talk about these types of things, because then people want to try to develop them, and that they come in and they're looking for powers, and they're looking for this and they look for that, and they're not really looking for what's of value. They want all the trappings and the stuff that goes along with it, but that's not, inherently what's important or what's, the pearl of great price. That is not the part of the pearl of great price, It's just kind of some of the little things, tidbits that happen with it. The pearl of great price is when one deconstructs into that ever-present is. That's the pearl of great price. But so many people in duality and mind and stuff would think, oh, if I could have this power, if I could have that power, if I could do this, if I could do that, then everything would be fabulous. And they want to keep that me identity and have all these other things. But these things come along the way as one is releasing that and going beyond that. So again, it's not something that one has to work to develop.
No, and
these are, I guess you could call what the Bible would call gifts of the Spirit.
Yes.
They're like, you could say they are like the Holy Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit that come along.
Yeah, and there's souls that have had that are not realized, and there's also some that are realized that it may never happen to. It's just part of it. I don't know. It's just go along with it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that it comes along the way. It's just not something that
you would know. So.
It's something that comes along the way, but it's again not something that's touted or spoken of in any great measure, because it's not the most valid thing. It's not what one is supposed to be searching for, but it is one of, like I said, the gifts of the Spirit that come along the way as one walks that journey. Yeah, kind of a little hallmark thing that kind of takes place,
Yeah.
But again, it's not something that one would work to develop, Yeah. No, just comes.
It's just there.
Just there as part of the journey. That it's, again, another, as you grow up, certain things happen in life, and one learns things at certain ages. This is part of this experience. As one goes, these types of things open and they begin to take place. But
yeah, good way to put it.
That's all. It's just part of the journey. It's not the end point, not what one should be focused on having or gaining or attaining, whatever. These are not things that, someone looks to attain. These are just things that open and are along the way. That's all.
It just comes
no big whoop.
Exactly.
No, exactly. And again, you'll, after a while, it will be feel very natural, very spontaneous, not like any grand whoop. No. It just is what is. It's again how it takes place and what happens with it. That's all. So we're happy to share that with you, and hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye, guys.